So let me show you the challenges real quick, and then I'm going to back into the demonstration. This is this was a tough challenge for me to come up with because I've talked about a lot of things, a very broad, big picture. These are all the pieces. These are kind of how they fit together. These are the talking points. If you're in an elevator and say, hey, tell me about metadata, you could simply say, well, what did Luke say on that one slide? Okay, boom. Like, I've just impressed my friends at the party. What I'd like you to do is download the sample application, make sure you can run it. From here, I'd like you to go through and identify all the major pieces. So where am I bootstrapping the application? Where are my components? Where are my services? How are they working together? And so from there, I'd like you to go to a component and add in a property to it, and then bind to it in that template. So for instance, you could go home, and you could just add a property, and then make sure it's rendering in the view. Then what I'd like you to do is add a new property to the StateService, consume it in the component, and display it in the template. As a bonus, create an interface, and so this is just going to be kind of copy and pasting. This is, let's explore a little bit, and the new property that you created, type that property to that interface that you just created. So in this case, you might create a user object, or like a config object, and then you would just create an interface for that. And so I'm going to give everybody, let's say 15, 20 minutes to kind of pull that down, just go through the app, see where the components are, the services, how they fit together, and just start adding some properties and just play around with it. So I just would like everybody to familiarize themselves with what an Angular application kind of looks like. And we will be available for questions, and we'll pick this up in 15, 20 minutes.
What repo are we using? Because there's two running around at the moment. There's that Webpack starter, and then there's another one you've got.
So it's not the...
Is it the one you showed up before with the nice starter?
It's the FEM
Right.
NG2 Simple Web App. And so I'm kind of going to actually do this a little bit with you guys. But if you go to the right here, I don't want to say too much because then I'll just do the challenge for you. But in the app folder, you'll notice you have About, Experiments, and Home. And so you notice that will match up with the navigation on the top. And then Experiments, I have another subcomponent. So explore the relationship between the Experiments component and the Experiments Details component. And then, generally, I will abstract out my services, if they need to be shared across multiple components, into a common directory. And so you have your experiment service, your state service, so this is right here. And if you want to see what an interface looks like, you can see it here in the experiment model .ts file. Any questions before I release the hounds?
Do it.
And fight.
One question, I don't know if you covered this. There's the core.js dependency was missing from the package JSON.
Was it?
Did you see that? That chat had issues with that earlier.
Someone posted a solution in chat as well.
I was able to get it.
So core.js just isn't in there, so it.
Yeah, it probably depends on what browser people are running. Yeah, so core.js.
Right.
So definitely makes sense.
But
So,
you might just want to update it.
Officially, I do accept pull request.
It's already there.
Yes. So Scott, if you want to accept that pull request.
But
I'm
just
just-
want
I'm
to make sure
dreading-
everybody on video seat knows that.
Yeah. So I do use Chrome kind of as my default browser, which I think gives me a fairly distorted view of like how awesome the web is. Because then you have to support IE, and Firefox is not too bad. Safari is eh. And so I just go where it's easy. But yes, depending on what browser you're on, you may experience an error that I have not experienced yet. Just surface it and we'll get through it.